Yo, what's good, party people? Bang, 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 bang. That whole thing. Peep it. Peep it, yo. Ah. Hmm. Your person, right? Your person is pure entertainment. You are pure entertainment. And see, most often the mind is entertained by things that are other than peace. You have to notice these things. With the sole purpose of ignoring these things. Unless you can do something about these things. And if there's nothing you can do about these things, well, then there's no point. It makes no sense. To worry about these things, okay? I don't know what it is, okay? What it is it's a species that loves to worry. It's a species that loves to find things to worry about where there's nothing to worry about. And because we are an emotional and energetic species that are uncompromisingly affected by what the people around us are doing. Oh my gosh. A person's frequency is kinetically influencing the entire energetic, what's the word I'm looking for? You can say frequency or vibe that everyone in the vicinity of this kinetic, energetic, perceptual is transmitting. I don't know if you got all that. Ultimately, the way you feel, the way you think, the way you behave, consciously or unconsciously, affects and infects everyone around you. But not just in the things that you do or say, but in ways that are completely unseen. It's energetic forces that are moving through the environment behind the scenes. Energy is kinetic, and we're all serving it. This is why Marcus Aurelius said, if you hang around a lame, you're sure to develop a limp. That's why it's very important, my guy, to pay attention to what you're doing all the time. But you can recede from this once the amount of time you've spent in meditation is sufficient, in so much as it has transformed your brains in such a way that your innate intentions are always loving in every way. Yeah. That's why you always want to show up. You want to show up a certain kind of way. Not only for others, but more importantly for yourself. Because you can't do anything for anyone else until you can inwardly cut the head off the snake. Yeah. Yes, yeah. When you do this, you instantaneously become a shining example. And it's not for external validation. Well, because see, you've become too sensitive to your subtle body energies, and you know that everything that you're experiencing comes from your own me. And you no longer project any of your power on or towards anybody. You take responsibility, accountability for everything you're doing and experiencing. And you can sleep good at night, my G's, because you know everything you're doing is unconditionally loving, because you know everything here is you I am now. The nothing. Yeah. Yeah. So what does this mean? It means that as you are observing yourself, you want to become proficient at monitoring your thoughts. It'd be nice to get into a habit of feeding your mind. Thoughts, readings, pictures, music that has you inclined to focus on and think about the sublime. This will indeed raise your frequency. And you won't need anybody to tell you this because you will feel it subjectively. Yeah. And in those moments, as you are observing your thinkingness, if something arises that causes you stress, again, if there's nothing you can immediately do about it, then your only job at that moment is to, as hard as it may be, peacefully sit with it. Don't attempt to take your trauma, your drama, and spread it all throughout the matrix of your existence. Just sit with it. And as your person experiences it, recognize in those moments of experiencing that there is something present that is doing the witnessing. How do you know? I mean, that's obvious, yo. How do you know that your person is stressed or blissed? There is something, or more appropriate, nothing, that is paying attention to it, and that is pure awareness. With the front row seat, observing your person carrying out its existence perfectly, responding to everything exactly the way it is supposed to be. And as you move through your triggers, it will behoove you to acknowledge and recognize that everything that you're seeing and feeling has nothing to do with you are. I am now. The nothing. Now, is this going to be easy? Sometimes, yes. Most times, yes, because hopefully most of the time you're not stressed. Hopefully most of the time they're mild inconveniences that you are seeing or witnessing your person overcoming. But occasionally, something may be placed on display that is a bit of an obstacle and presents with a certain level of intensity on either end of the spectrum, my G's, in regards to joy or suffering. Joy is easy. Suffering, on the other hand, angst, all of these things. You just have to become acclimated to your body's alchemy and physiology without outwardly acting out in such a way that would, again, project an energy that would infect the environment around your body. You want to be a good steward. Yeah. A steward king for your community, right? By not acting a full ham turkey. And as you're sitting with what your person presumes to be in a fits, you'll notice, if you're able to stick with it, that as you're observing it and disassociating with it, all right, now how do you know that it's not you, aside from the fact that you're witnessing it? Well, the other part is that if it's unpleasant, surely, if you can control it, if you didn't want it to be there, you could make it instantly stop and leave. But that's not typically what's happening when it comes to your feelings, right? Otherwise, when you experience joy, you make that stay longer, and every time you experienced or felt the trigger, okay, you would instantaneously eliminate that, which eventually, just through awareness alone, this is something that you'd be able to do, but not until you begin to start practicing the things that are being expressed right here, right now. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the I don't know. I think this is the 4th episode. Appreciate you guys for dialing in. If you're still here with me, feel free to pick up the book that's out there right now. It's called Path to Joy: Overcoming Loss and Embracing Life. Really good book. Again, full of resources, other books, insightful tips and ideas, similar to what you're hearing and picking up right now. Another book is being worked on. That's going to be a good book. That's all I can say about that one. It's going to be a really good book. Oh, geez Louise. I'll keep you posted on that. And the thing about this show is this isn't typical entertainment here. You know, a lot of shows, you know, I don't know, I guess we have a lot of ADHD people out here. Well, I guess this is for them, okay? All right. Because we're going to keep this at a certain frequency, all right? It's going to be high. It's going to be easy, all right? It's going to be something that will place you in a state of harmony, in alignment with your own essential essence, your effing essence. I tell you. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. But as you're sitting with your triggers, if you're able to power or muscle through nothing other than what you perceive to be a you and your body's own emotionalities and thoughts about what may or may not be happening, and all of these things, everything other than right here, right now. Right? What you will find is that these periods or states or conditions of your being eventually come to a halt, and your person returns to a state of homeostasis or peace. And see, that's when you're going to have to start to implement your ability of pattern recognition. As you start to observe and take note of your person's condition and tendency to move through a variety of mood swings throughout the day. The way your person feels is not stationary. It depends on how busy your person is or the things that it encounters. Or feeling and the kind of energies that they are projecting. And through empathy, you'll notice a fluctuation of your own energies unasked for. Okay? You didn't ask for these fluctuations. You could be walking around minding your business, okay? Daydreaming and hopefully thinking about blissfulness. I don't know. Pure nothingness, okay? Just appreciative for your existence, just loving the now, all right? And then somehow, spontaneously, in a way that seems completely randomly, things just kind of pop up, and your person responds in turn based off of all the things it's ever learned. In regards to what it decides to do mentally and emotionally with whatever it is, again, you're currently experiencing. You didn't ask for this. It just popped up out of nowhere. And your only job is, as these vicissitudes come about, is to sit inwardly and quietly stare and notice how just as quickly as these feelings and experiences appeared, at some point they equally disappear. In that gap or state as you slip back into your just here, just now, needing nothing, wanting nothing, not being bothered, just still. In that moment when you get to chill, you can start to begin to recognize, again through pattern recognition, that this peaceful, chill state is your innate being. Your ability to simply just appreciate everything you're seeing. That is love. And it's always present. It's always here now. Love is not an emotion. Love is what you are. Love is not oxytocin. It's a good hormone and it feels great, but love is your innate state. It's not an excitability. It's not. Love is so fundamental that without it, nothing would be. Wow, that's like a double entendre or something like that, okay? Without love, nothing would be, meaning there wouldn't be anything. But at the same time, the only thing that there would be the nothing, okay? Well, anyway, what pushed us to be motivated? I mean, we were going to do this video no matter what, but there was a feeling that came over us that was profound. And while we were doing what we were doing, we didn't have a choice but to come in here and set up. There was nothing else that nothing else. There was no other options. Something needed to be birthed, okay? You can't keep this in, my friends, okay? You know how, okay. You know how you get a really good meal, right? Or you cook up something that is really delicious and you eat it and you're just like, it's so good, okay? It's so delicious. Whether you're cooking it or you're at a restaurant or whatever, and your meal is so delicious that if you're with someone, you want them to taste it. You're like, oh, get over here, you gotta try this. It's so good, you're gonna love it, okay? And see, you wanna share. Why? Because you wanna share what brings you joy. That's funny. That's pretty much what we were talking about in the beginning of this video. Who knew? Energy is kinetic. So when you experience anything that can be seen as being awesome, you want to share that awesomeness. You don't want to keep it to yourself. It doesn't even feel right. It's exploding. It's dying to get out of you, okay? Yeah, you can't be quiet about it, all right? It must be shared. You don't have a choice. Yeah. But what brings us before you today is there was a conversation that we had. And so we've been doing this type of thing for a very long time, right? Different ways and different formats, okay? And over the years, we've met a lot of awesome folks in our travels. People who have been significantly helped by things like this that just provide a degree of clarity that provides a bit of reprieve, solace in regards to the human dilemma. The Buddha said to be human is to know suffering, okay? There's plenty of things that have been stated like this, you know? I mean, you can't be a human being and not know it in the world that we're in. It's a Rajasic dimension, and the whole setup, when you really start to pay attention, you know, it's like, wow. And it's quite unbelievable when the overwhelming majority of the population essentially suffers from Stockholm syndrome. Oh my God, it's something else. I mean, because there's unlimited potential for the ways that we could all collectively be existing, but no one questions authority. Einstein talked about this. I mean, it's really kind of ridiculous how far back it goes, but everyone's so baffled and brain boggled by their own suffering and their own need to run from what's hiding in their unconscious, instead of facing these things that we're discussing. Right? When your triggers come up, shut up, go take a seat. Don't try to absorb this gnarly and then turn around and displace it or spread it on someone or something else. Find a positive way to dissipate this. And one of the best ways is to sit with it. And you could also do certain exercises, movement and activity, you know, lifting weights. If you like karate, everybody wants to be a UFC champion now, you know. Whatever, man, you know. All of this stuff to kind of release this energy out of your person, right? You can find other ways to creatively release this energy. But one thing that significantly helps is recognizing as you're experiencing these things. And, you know, that's the thing. That's what makes all this stuff we're talking about relatable, is that as much as everyone would like to try to hide what's happening on their insides, there's no one here who is above suffering, okay? You just hang it up with that whole pretend game here. All right. I don't care who you are, how much you got, or how much you don't got. All right. I tell you, man, it's the whole game is turkey once you see it. Okay. I tell you. Sit with it. Sit with your shit. And stop being a hippopotamus about it. Go on the internet and look up a hippopotamus, all right? And just type in the search bar, hippopotamus feces, or how they take a dump. They got a little tiny tail, and it does this. That's literally what the tail does. And while they're taking a poop, like a water sprinkler, okay? They just sprinkling pebbles, they're fanning all over the place, okay? It's not a neat dump like a rabbit, okay, but it's a hippopotamus. It's not just a bang right there, no. They are spraying it everywhere. That's how they mark their territory. They take that little tail and it just flings it all over, like this is my spot. All over everybody. Yeah, that's not what you want to do with your shadow work. No, don't be a jerk. Oh my gosh. Fucking G up. And recognize as these triggers are happening that none of what is being experienced is you or I am now the nothing, okay? There's a saying in the Deep East, it goes neti neti, N-E-T-I, comma, N-E-T-I. Neti neti meaning not this or not that. Become acclimated with understanding, do as much research as you need to in regards to fully comprehending that everything that you're feeling, tasting, touching, and smelling is not you. It's not you. That's the thing that you have to become comfortable with expressing, right? Right now, people are scared. People are scared for psychological reasons, emotional reasons. There's so much pressure. No one wants to. Look, the game is rigged to keep you out of your power. And it's not like you're gonna have some kind of superpower, but you do have superpower. You know where your love comes from, and it's real. It's not fake. It's bursting out of your pee all the time for no reason. For no reason. You just stay in a state of joy. Even in the midst of chaos. Chaotic shit can be happening. You are joy. Period. We have some states of greater joy than others, of course, But in those low states, you may not have ecstasy, but I tell you what you do have, my friends. Passion. Yeah. A certain type of way. Yeah. It roars like a bonfire each and every day. Yeah. It never goes away. It's passion for your own existence. It is a thrill, an excitement for life. Yes, indeed. Yeah. You feel this deeply. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But what we were saying was, we've been doing this for a long time. And over that time, you find that there's people who will come to you and tell you that they appreciate the things that you do. Some will go as far as to tell you that you've changed their lives or saved their lives. To which the response is every time, I didn't do shit. I didn't have anything to do with it. Everything you perceive to be in me, what you think you see is nothing but essentially a hologram, homie. What you think is me is a trick of light and shadow. It is a fluctuation of energies, electrical signals, and sound frequencies. It's 99.99% empty space, and the room for margin of error, the 0.0001%, is nothing but energy, of which everything is. It's an enclosed circle of psychology, a sphere of experientiality, with a center that often goes by a me, but it's got nothing, to do with, once again, you or I am now. The only reason someone changes their life or feels as though it is saved because of something that they think is a me does or is doing is because there is something within you that has you so inclined to pay attention to everything that is resonating within you, that you see in me, that you obviously see and feel within you. And whatever it is that's in you that makes you feel in such a way as to pay attention to the things that are being expressed and shared. Whatever it was that made you care about what you think is me is saying. That is what you need to be thinking. And I'm gonna tell you, whatever you want to call or label that, my G's, understand this. It was birthed out of what it is. You I am now. But nothing. And everything is. See, when you do this, that way ego doesn't get caught up in it, okay? Because ego is a fool. And it'll run away with everything that you feed it. I tell you. but it lacks the ability to do this once you're able to see it. The more clarity in your vision in regards to being able to see everything that's happening to you subjectively eliminates any and all opportunities for your ego to assume that it has any sense of control. And this is the whole premise and purpose behind being aware of your own awareness. It's showing respect where respect is due, which is the source of everything. Being, once again, the I am. You I am now. The nothing. And everything is. I think we got a couple things we can read. And we'll have knocked out another hour. Indeed. I tell you, this is all so easy, okay? Plus, I mean, it makes you feel good, all right? It's just, I'm hoping you're enjoying this, okay? Because I tell you what. Yeah. I tell you what. This is great. Oh, man. Okay, we'll click back to it. That was a good one. We had it set up. Let's see. I didn't get permission from friends again because this was just completely spontaneous to mention their names, that is, you know. Come on. There we go. This one, how about that? This one's from, this wasn't from a friend. This is something I just had. I was digging in the crates for this one. I don't know how long ago, but it's a quote. It's from Eckhart Tolle, or Eckhart Tolle. I haven't been formally introduced, so I don't know precisely how to say it. Eckhart Tolle. It sounds more Eckhart Tolle. I don't know which one it is. You know. I was gonna say Tolle sounds more French, but I mean, you know, I don't speak French, so I don't know, you know. Whichever one, potato, right? Okay, you or I am now. But the quote, what it states is, you forgive yourself by realizing that nobody can act beyond their level of consciousness. Jesus Christ. We talked about that yesterday. Essentially, the cornbread English of that is, you know, don't get mad at the clowns. A clown is going to be a fucking clown. Just start asking yourself, why do you keep going to the circus, man? Huh? There's another saying. It says, you never argue or wrestle with a pig, because if you wrestle with a pig, you're going to end up in the mud. And the pig is going to love it. They're going to love it. Oh my God, okay? Meanwhile, now you're dirty, okay? You got to, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to be easy cleanup, man, okay? I tell you, okay? Just, you have to recognize as you continue to ascend up your own awareness of consciousness, you will just stop hanging out with people less and less. Okay, it's just you can't help it. Okay, you can't help it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you meet the people where they're at. You know what I'm saying? But it's like everyone is functioning off of their own level of greed and false sense of needs. It's running them, and then you mix that psychological tendency with fiat currency. Okay, you throw capitalism into the mix of, a person's psychological insecurities that they haven't addressed internally, then wow, it's a recipe for disaster. Okay, and no one notices this. No one pays attention to it. Everyone is just acting like it's totally okay. Yep, we're okay. I tell you, it's really something else. They just don't study the science of it. Okay, but the whole system is perfect. I tell you what. You will be an ascended master. Okay, as soon as you recognize it for what it is. All right, but yeah, you just have to forgive everything, and it's not easy until you start. Okay, start small, and you'll notice transformation. It'll kick in. Let's see, what's my man here saying? Ooh, yeah, that's a big one right there. Our freedom can be measured by the number of things we can walk away from. Attachment, right? Anything that we come in contact with that we take a liking to, you almost instantaneously start to create bonds of entanglement, all right? And look, that's going to happen even if you're paying attention to it as it's happening, all right? When you're aware of these things, that's why a lot of people, once they reach a certain level of consciousness, they don't want anything to do with anybody. But that's just part of the human experience, man. You can't be afraid to be vulnerable, all right? Because as soon as you start putting up all these walls, okay, and your defenses are up, well then at that point you're ready for an attack. So you're not, of course, you're not going to be able to look. Love and fear in the third dimension cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Now, I say that, take it with a grain of salt, because as I mentioned previously in this show, you are love. It's just that everything that thinks it's you, its view of what is true, being your innate lovingness, becomes obscured by your fears. Okay? And the only way to surrender this is to come under the full understanding that none of what is seen, heard, tasted, smelled, or believed to be you and me is actually you or I am now the nothing. And you have to become steeped in this and recognize that you don't have any influence or control over the things that are happening. It's all run by subconscious programming. You're a show. You are pure entertainment. And to say that you are bored, that shows that you have ignored the fundamental circumstances of your entire existence and how you've even come to be here. Because once you fully grasp this miraculousness, the last thing you could ever do is say that you were bored, okay? I tell you. Because if you, as in what you truly are, were bored, trust me, you wouldn't be here, okay? Oh my gosh. Entanglement and attachment. You know, these things happen automatically even when you're paying attention. It's just part of your entire psychological makeup. It's the way your brain is set up. We're loving creatures, and the more someone is around us, until that someone around you starts finding problems with you because they're incapable of recognizing that you're never going to be satisfied completely with everything around you until you recognize the source of all satisfaction is you are. I am now the nothing. As soon as and as long as you think any sense of satisfaction is coming from anything external, then you'll never know lasting peace. But if you're going to be here on this planet and you want some comforting, well then, you're gonna have to figure out how to get over yourself, homie. I tell you, it's just what it is, okay? You gotta be a glutton for punishment. I'm telling you, but you also have to know your limits, okay? You gotta know it's, no mas, okay? All right, you gotta cut bait. You gotta cut it when it's, it just kinda is what it is. This is another one that was just sitting in there. In the crates. I was digging in the crates, and this one goes way back too. All right, because a lot of things that I post, it's not this new AI fancy stuff that's the last couple of years here has gotten better and better. AI is good. Okay, yeah, this stuff is kind of old school. This is oldie but goodies here. Okay, one must die before they die to be truly alive. Okay. It's got a picture of Thoth on here too. I don't know if Thoth said that. I read the Emerald tablets many years ago, close to 20, because I was interested in all that kind of stuff, aliens, conspiracies, all of it. I was digging into what do they call it, the dark web back in the 90s, the early 2000s, just digging around. Thoth is, I love it. One must die before they die to be truly alive. This is so true. It's the next level of the game, and it's kind of interesting how most perceptuals, again, they're stuck on the first chapter. All right, if it's a 2-chapter book, living egoically and then ascending through the process of inward evolution into higher realms of consciousness. I mean, to get there, you got to kill your ego. And you can't lie to yourself about this. Otherwise, you'll never experience bliss. And what's the point of lying if all you're doing, if you're trying to evolve, but all you're trying to get from it is something false? Your motivation can't be external. Your motivation has to be the eternal. We're almost at an hour. In fact, we just hit it. can't remember this dude's name, but he's from the Twilight Zone. He says, imagine, if you will, living many lifetimes in many forms on many worlds, traveling through eternity, you know? That's the kind of shit you want to think about, my G's, okay? I mean, if you're intentionally trying to make your life entertaining, right? It'll help alleviate a lot of suffering. I mean, I'm just saying, you know. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm just saying. Okay. And I guess we're gonna end it off with Alan Watts, because again, we can do this forever on end. Okay, I tell you. Alan Watts, at age 21, I believe. That's what the photo says anyway. I don't know if he said this at 21, but Alan Watts is a groovy dude, man. His life is really something else. I love this guy. He's a rebel, a rapscallion, okay? Yes, indeed. He's my kind of fucking guy, Alan Watts. Yeah. An upstanding gentleman, all right? Alan Watts, a long time ago, says, we're all God in disguise. Jesus found that out, and they crucified him for saying so. You know? And on that note, per usual, I love you, and yeah. Namaste. Yeah. Fucking bang.